It's been 50 years since the fall of Saigon, when North Vietnamese and Viet Cong troops rolled into the city and took the presidential palace here, bringing an end to the Vietnam War, a conflict that led to the deaths of millions of Vietnamese people and more than 50,000 American soldiers. Every year, Liberation Day, as it's called here, is marked with a celebration, but this was their biggest display yet. A military parade featuring 13,000 soldiers and performers, jets and helicopters flying overhead, all for people crowded onto the streets, as well as a delegation that included a small contingent of representatives from the United States. The Trump administration appearing to ease an order that was given to senior diplomats in Vietnam to not attend the events here. The ambassador was not expected to attend, but Susan Burns, the consul general here in Ho Chi Minh City, was spotted on the stage just hours after the State Department dodged a question about why diplomats were told that they shouldn't attend. For the U.S. here, the war came down to a few final frantic hours with the evacuation of the remaining Americans and several Vietnamese from the U.S. Embassy here. Several veterans travel back from the U.S. every year for the anniversary. Some have returned to Vietnam and just stayed. Matthew Keenan now lives in Da Nang, where he volunteers at a center that helps Vietnamese victims of Agent Orange, the toxic defoliant that was used by U.S. forces during the war and what he believes caused his cancer.
The boys and girls who I talked about before, they cannot explain why they have a problem. They cannot explain about a war. They can't explain about toxic chemicals. I can. And I do that for them.
The U.S. and Vietnam now have what's called a comprehensive strategic partnership. It's a very high level of diplomatic relations, which is rooted in post-war reconciliation, but now has more strategic purpose given regional competition with China. But here today, for people on the streets, with or without Americans, this is a day of national pride to mark a communist victory in Vietnam that reshaped the world and Vietnam's place in it.